Hey there, freedom fighters, back with another one. Topic today: do you believe people are inherently good? Now, I know you've heard this saying before, you know, someone does something bad or whatever, and people are like, well, they're just a bad apple because people are inherently good. It means eternally that, people want to do good, people are good, but occasionally they do bad things. And I guess that brings forward the question, what is a bad person? Um, there was an experiment back in the day, I forget what it was called, but they would bring people in, and on the other side of a glass there was another person hooked up to a machine that would, zap them, give them a electrical charge, and they would see how far people would go with it. And the first charge is like, a little zap, and then the second charge, a little stronger, maybe the ability to like a taser. Then we go further, and you would hear the person scream and beg, no more, no more. And at what point, do you become a bad person? When the person tells you, no, give them another one. And the experiment was to see when people would back off and when people would stop. And I think it went as far as like, oh, this one's gonna, paralyze them. Or like, this one's gonna, like, permanent brain damage. And people are like, all right, straight, hit the button. And then, another, I think they even went like this is the killing blow. Like, you are gonna execute this man in the, in the electrical chair. And people did it, you know. And I was watching this. The whole thing that got me thinking about it the other day was I was at a friend's house, and his mom had like some TV show on. It was one of these like celebrity gossip shows. I think it was Access Hollywood or like one of those TMZ kind of things or something. But just trash TV. And they were talking to this lady. I guess she's, I don't even know who she is. Like one of the co-hosts or one of these famous journalists or something on there, and she was talking about how she got to where she was. And she was like, "Oh yeah, my first interview was with Johnny Depp." And she goes, "I was working with this company and this photographer and all this stuff, and I gave this interview to Johnny Depp, you know, and supposedly she lied to the photographer and was like, oh yeah, give me the film and I'll send it to the company and like, do all this stuff." And he was kind of like weary about it, but he was like, all right, are you sure? And trusted her. And she went behind all their backs and published it on her own or something and made a name for herself. Because she got an interview with Johnny Depp. She was somebody. And then she was sitting on TV like, look at me now, look where I'm at now. Like, I'm on TV hosting a show or doing this or whatever she was doing. And I'm just like, that's freaking trash. But I mean, it's example of, where the world is at, today. And they call it a dog eat dog world. And it's like, people are going to step over you any chance they can get, to get ahead. And does that make them a bad person or, whatnot? And do you believe in the inherently good? And I was watching another show one time and they laid it out pretty simple. And it was just like, we're all animals. I mean, technically mammals, but yeah, like, and we're all surviving just like everything else. And if you get into the way of someone's survival or their family member's survival, they'll do not good things. So, we view it as this kind of like, oh, everyone's and it's kind of like a blue pill thought where everyone's like, oh, it's just all rainbows and ponies and butterflies and everyone's all good, you know. Anybody can do something bad. And I guess in our world, you talk about preparedness, stuff like that. And, you've always heard, like, the soccer mom next door is going to turn into a savage, when she realizes, little Johnny doesn't have what they need. This whole world is going to break down into craziness. So I guess, yeah, man, put your perspective. What do you think? Are people good? Is it their circumstances that make them good? What makes them bad? And you know what I say? No, we're on our own. No one's coming to save us. Get right with God, because only He can save you. Freedom Fighters out.